Okay, so tonight we're on number 5 of the 6 human needs. Now we're diving into the spiritual side, okay? Let's talk about growth. It's a big one. Those whose foremost core need is growth are always striving to be better and learn more. They're very good at their jobs, but tend to move on quickly as soon as they believe they've reached their full potential. Though their constant striving for betterment ensures they will never be bored, they can err on the side of perfectionism and neglect the rest and relaxation they need to keep stress levels manageable. It's a lot. Sounds oddly familiar too. Guys, there's a need within all of us to want to grow, right? If you're feeling complacent, if you're feeling unhappy, part of that may be because you've hit a dead end where you're at or slowed down in the growth of your life, whether it's your job, your relationship, your family. On the flip side of that, if you're experiencing tremendous growth, there's chances that you're happy. But it could also stress you out, right? Because you don't take the time that you need to rest. I'll dive into this in a couple days for specific reasons, but let's keep going. How to tell if growth is one of your core needs. You're always pushing boundaries, both your own and those set for you by others and by society. You're very independent and you're not attached to material things. You find it hard to connect with others and move on too quickly from relationships. Does this sound familiar to anybody? You know, in relationships, when you're experiencing rapid growth in your life, sometimes you feel like the relationships that you're in, you just outgrow them. Whether that's a circle of friends, you know, where maybe they're just doing the same thing that they've always done and you're kind of beyond that. Or maybe you experience that with some of your friends who move beyond. Good night, buddy.
What is that for?
Oh, just doing a video. Uninterrupted.
I'm coming.
And sometimes it works counter, where it's like you have your friends who are maybe moving beyond. Sometimes they downgrade too. They're lacking growth, but they move beyond you, and then you realize that and you're like, oh, this guy's changed or whatever. Or maybe you're the one that's changing, right? So too quickly from relationships. Sometimes it helps. One thing that I have personally found is trying to lift those others that are around you instead of just moving on from them. If you don't feel like you are connecting with them, you don't necessarily have to hang around, but sometimes it's nice to try to lift them up, lead by example, bring them along with your growth too. How to fulfill a need for growth. Develop your growth mindset even further by challenging yourself to not only learn, but truly master a difficult skill. So in this instance, one thing that I'm trying to personally master is being a little bit more comfortable on camera, hence why I'm doing this. I'm going to do it for a long time, so I hope you're ready to strap in for this. But I'm also trying to work on some of the nuances that I pick up on myself. One of them is face touching. One of them is rolling my eyes. And then I'm trying to use some tonalities when I speak. Like when I get excited, I start talking really loud, and then I can fade it back down and maybe even into a whisper, bringing you in and drawing you in, and then settle back and go back into my tone. So I'm trying to work on these things because it's a skill. It's a difficult skill to master, right? Another thing I'm working on is drawing. I'm not ready to show anybody that yet. Don't forget emotional and spiritual growth. Examine your limiting beliefs. Learn to control your emotions and take up meditation or priming. Priming. If you don't know what priming is, go look up Tony Robbins' priming. It's pretty cool. Reminder, that's who this is. So, limiting beliefs. One day I'm going to touch on that in another video, but we all have them. Like, I'm not good enough. These are going to be things that are holding you back from growth. nobody likes me, I can't find a partner, everybody's better than me, I can't, etc. It's one to really dive into because that's a big topic. And learn to control your emotions. That's another one I can dive into because I've talked about it before, but my default emotion is anger. And I want to work on that. But I also want to learn how to control certain emotions in certain situations. Like, I'm an emotional being, quite honestly. I cry at movies sometimes. I get upset really easily. Work on that. But growth, guys, growth, I think, is probably one of the more important ones because if you ain't growing, you dying, friends. All right? That is true to the bone. And doing things that promote growth, like reading, learning new skills, trying to better yourself, getting into the gym more often, eating better, that kind of stuff, does a world of wonders for your personality and also your relationships, your jobs, etc. So think about it. Think about the last time you were in a growth mode or you saw your friends in a growth mode. How did you respond? How did you react? What did you do? Tomorrow, talk about the last one, contribution. And then I am going to hit on what my top human need was. I'd love to see if you know what you think it is. Have a good night.